Hey everybody, welcome back. I'm Stephen Levine from NASCAR Illustrated. This is Tom Vandervoort from Sporting News, taking a look at the Firecracker. It's still the Firecracker, right?
Oh no, it's the Coke Zero 400. We could never call it the Firecracker 400.
Well, anyway, we're going to Daytona, and while Daytona is an interesting race in some ways to handicap because it can be somewhat of a crapshoot, it's also an opportunity for some of these bubble boys, these
I agree with you.
to take a little bit of control. If you look at the drivers who are in 11th through 20th without a win right now, you've got Jeff Gordon, Daytona winner. You've got Jamie McMurray, Ryan Newman, Daytona winners. You've got Kurt Busch, who should be a Daytona winner.
Yeah.
Brad Keselowski, who is a plate track winner. All these guys need a win to solidify their chase hopes and could grab it this weekend.
Well, there are a few opportunities obviously left to get that win that you need, and this one's an interesting one because there is so much variability that it's such a tactical race that if you make the right call and put yourself in the right position, you don't necessarily have to have the best car to win the race. So I think that's what's tempting about it for some of these guys is you figure out a way to steal one here, and then all of a sudden you're right back in the mix. And you know, so that might lead to some aggression towards the end of the race.
But it also, you know how you always like to look at the best team. I think that's even more palpable here at Daytona because you figure teammates are going to team up.
Right.
So who's a strong team? You got to think Hendrick. You got to think Gibbs. While they always have an advantage, they might have even more of an advantage here because if Jimmy and Junior team up, if Jeff and Casey team up, that's some powerhouse combos.
Yeah, and I think also certain drivers handle this environment better than others. You look at, obviously, a Junior. You look at a Matt Kenseth. You look at Kyle Busch, who's very, very good here at Daytona. Certain guys just seem to handle this environment a little better than other guys. Although, you know, look, David Reagan won. And David Reagan is a guy that clearly knows how to handle himself in this kind of situation. That was his second plate win.
Yeah, he's always been a good plate
So, you know, he knows, even though he's not on a powerhouse team, he knows how to handle this environment.
True, good point. We're going to come back with Kim Coon, Miss Sprint Cup, to talk about the drivers we're looking at a little bit more closely. All right, everybody, welcome back. As promised, we're here with Kim Coon, Miss Sprint Cup, to talk drivers. But wait, before we do that, let's talk about the standings, because I left on vacation 2 weeks ago in the lead, and Bob Pockris squandered my lead in my absence.
I don't know if he did, because his pick won for you last week.
It did, but
so he had two picks and one of them won.
Yeah, but
so I don't know what you're complaining about.
You went from way behind to now in the lead.
Because Biffle actually won the race.
All right, so Tom is in the lead with 29 points. I'm following up with 28, thanks to my Joey Logano pick.
Made by
and
Bob.
Miss Sprint Cup, you're now in third place with 27.
Oh,
I like that it's come together though. It's almost like a good restart. It was just like a good. We're back to get close together.
Like a restart?
Yeah.
Does that mean Jimmy Johnson's going to screw it up?
It means somebody threw a debris caution.
Because Jimmy, I picked Jimmy, and he had the damn thing won without those. I'm mad at him right now.
And I'm sure he's feeling it. Let's talk Daytona. A hard race to handicap because, as plate racing is, it can be a little wonky. It can be, you know, so...
A little more randomness in it.
A little bit more randomness.
Of an unknown.
Yes.
Unknown.
Yeah.
So how do you deal with that? Who's your pick for Daytona?
Okay, my pick is somebody that does well at restrictor plate races. He was third in last year's Coke Zero 400. He won last year's Daytona 500 and coming off a win this past weekend.
He knows how to handle
Kenseth.
himself.
If you hadn't figured it out, Matt Kenseth.
I was looking at Matt Kenseth, and if you eliminate the Daytona 500 from this year, he's got 3 top threes in a row at Daytona. Great pick.
Yeah, Kenseth is a good pick. What about you? I mean, I'm in the lead, so.
Oh, so I get to go next?
Sure.
Well, I was looking at Kenseth, but I always like to have 2 people in hand because you never know if your pick's still going to be on the board. I'm going to go with Junior, actually. Dale Earnhardt Jr. Has finished second in the past 2 Daytona 500s. He's been a little bit more successful in the 500 than in the Firecracker, but back in 2010 he was 4th in this race. And he and Jimmy have been a really stout restrictor plate team. He's pushed Jimmy to victory at this racetrack. So based on that, I'm going to go with Dale Earnhardt.
It's a good pick. That was my second pick. So
see, we're on the same
page.
Isn't it great that you two are simpatico?
Yeah.
Okay, I'm down to Kyle and Kurt. You know, I considered Tony. I like Tony on this track a lot.
Especially
I like Tony
this time of year.
In plate races a lot.
He has the most wins, too.
I feel like Kurt is the guy who really knows how to run the plate stuff but hasn't won on a plate track
I
yet.
agree.
But Kyle is just so good at Daytona. I think I'm going to go with Kyle this week. I think Kyle will get the victory.
Three very
You don't like
stout-
that pick,
I don't
Kim?
like that pick, but I think I would have picked Kurt over Kyle.
You would have?
I do think
We'll
Kurt
see.
is the best plate racer never to have won a plate
We
race.
should
think
have a
so,
little
too.
side bet
Yeah.
on your bet.
The Bush
Between
bet?
the Bush bet.
Kyle versus Kurt?
I think it's Kurt.
So you take Kurt and I take
And then
Kyle.
who would you
Side
pick?
bet.
I think I'd go with Kurt.
All right.
Okay,
2 to
so
1, we'll
two
see.
Kurts and a Kyle?
Yep.
So if I win the side bet, do I get like an extra
You
point
get
or two?
nothing.
Nothing. You get bragging rights.
Okay.
Okay.
All right, so to review the official
And money.
picks.
How about money?
Not
Any
the,
money?
Not the Bush bet, but the official picks. We've got Matt Kenseth,
Yes.
Dale Earnhardt Jr.
And Kyle Busch.
And Kyle Busch.
Don't let me down, Kyle.
We left Jimmy Johnson on the table.
Yep.
We left Jeff Gordon on the table. We left Tony Stewart on the table.
Well, I mean, you know, you can't pick everybody.
No, you can't. You can only pick 3 people because
That's
there are
true.
only 3
Right.
of us.
That's
And mine's
very
going to win,
accurate.
and that's all that matters.
Okay, Kim. At least you didn't pick Casey King because we know what happens
Keep
to him.
talking, Miss Sprint Cup. Keep talking. All right, guys, thanks for watching. Check back next week. You'll see how we all did.